So maybe we do something stupid like, you know, we clink glasses and then I look confused. And I say, hey, okay, here. Can I have cream in my coffee with that when I'm intermittent fasting?
I don't know.
What about MCT oil?
I don't know.
What about butter?
I don't know.
Do you want to test them?
Sure. That sounds fun. Hi everyone, we have stuck our fingers 16 times over the past 4 days to bring you a definitive answer about how your body handles black coffee, cream, MCT oil, and butter to show you once and for all if these things break your fast. We followed the scientific method, meaning we started with the hypothesis, decided how to test that hypothesis, gathered our results, and came to our conclusions.
To do this, I got myself into ketosis. Now, if you follow us here on 2Fit Docs, you know that while Keith has lost 80 pounds on a ketogenic diet, I don't do keto. Instead, I follow a low-carb diet, so I typically eat around 100 grams of carbs a day. But for this experiment, I pushed my body into ketosis by lowering my carb intake and exercising with intensity starting 48 hours before testing.
So our first hypothesis was mostly a control to see what happened to our ketones and glucose levels when we drank 16 ounces of black coffee, which is not very much. So we hypothesized that if we drink 16 ounces of coffee while intermittent fasting, it will not knock us out of ketosis or spike our glucose.
So the materials that we used were our precision Xtra ketone and glucose meter. We had our ketone and glucose strips and 16 ounces of coffee.
Most of our audience is pretty savvy, but in case you don't know, beta-hydroxybutyrate is the ketone in my blood that we're testing. So,
yes.
Hence the cup.
Followed 16/8 intermittent fasting schedule, so we stopped eating by 8 p.m. the night before the tests. We performed the tests over a 2-hour period. So we took our initial reading at 0 minutes and then tested again at 30 minutes, 60 minutes, and 120 minutes. During that time, we did not exercise or consume supplements, drank 8 ounces of black coffee for the first 30 minutes, and then another 8 ounces in the next half hour. As you can see from the results, my ketone level went up and Keith's went down by 0.1.
When we looked at the results for our blood glucose readings, Becky's glucose started low and stayed low. Well, mine was somewhat high, kind of normal for me, and then went down.
And these results bummed Keith out.
It really bummed me out because I work hard
shouldn't laugh.
Being in ketosis, and I was like actually below the level that they consider as nutritional ketosis. Well, you just hop into ketosis when you want to, and you got like these great numbers. Kicks me off.
So we shot a video on keto frustration for Keith. These results likely show the difference between an insulin-resistant person and an insulin-sensitive person, but it does not say much to reject our initial hypothesis. So, does black coffee break your intermittent fast?
No.
All right. Great, so day 1 of pricking our fingers was done, so we went on to day 2 and looked at heavy cream.
Yep, so we hypothesized that if we drink coffee with heavy cream while intermittent fasting, it will not knock us out of ketosis or spike our glucose. So we used the same materials and methods, only this time there were 2 tablespoons of cream added to our 16 ounces of coffee. It did make it yummier. Tasted better, but, well, the pinprick still hurt you.
And you.
No,
As you can see from the results on heavy cream, my ketones started at 1.8 and rose to 2.1, and Keith's ketones started at 0.2 and went up to 0.3.
Woohoo! As for glucose, Becky's dropped by 11 points over the 120 minutes, and my glucose went up a little bit at first, but then settled down after 120 to about the initial level.
So, will heavy cream in your coffee knock you out of ketosis?
No.
All right, accepted. So day 2 of pricking our fingers was done, so we went on to day 3 and tested MCT oil in our coffee.
Yep, so we hypothesized that if we drink coffee with MCT oil while intermittent fasting, it will not knock us out of ketosis or spike our glucose.
Pretty interesting one on MCT oil, I think.
Absolutely.
So we followed the same methods, only this day we put 1 tablespoon of MCT oil in our 16-ounce coffees. If we look at the results, we see that MCT oil gave our ketones a boost. So my ketones started at 2.3 and rose to 3.2. Keith's ketones started at 0.5 and went up to 0.8 with a little bit of a peak at 60 minutes.
As for glucose, both of our blood glucose readings went down slightly after 120 minutes when we consumed MCT oil.
So your thoughts on MCT oil, will it knock you out of ketosis?
No. In fact, it seemed to increase the ketones in our blood.
Right, so I think this was probably, of our 4 days of testing, I think this was the aha moment.
Yeah. MCT oil seems to be the key component of bulletproof coffee, keto coffee, whatever you want to call it. That is really the star of the show. And we didn't have to do butter yet.
Yeah. All right, so we did have 1 more day of testing. So day 3 of testing was done, and we were ready to go on to day 4, where we had to test butter in our coffee.
Yep, so we hypothesized that if we drink coffee with butter while intermittent fasting, it will not knock us out of ketosis or spike our glucose.
All right, so same methods, only this time we put 1 tablespoon of butter in our coffee. It was Kerrygold butter. And so what were the results for our ketones?
Our ketones actually, you started at 2.1, you ended up at 2.6. I started at 0.5 and ended up at 0.6.
And what was that for? Ketone?
Ketones.
And for glucose?
Both of our glucoses went down almost at each step. So there was no raise, no increase.
All right, so butter in your coffee, does it knock you out of ketosis?
No.
All right. So now we have our conclusions to our test. We tested over the past 4 days black coffee, coffee with cream, coffee with MCT oil, and coffee with butter in them. Did any of them knock us out of ketosis?
No.
So we could say from this test that you could have those during your intermittent fast without worries of dropping your ketones or raising your glucose, correct?
Right, and that, as we are defining that, I think that we say it does not break your fast. Any of those things.
Right.
But I think we can safely say also that MCT oil is really, that's the real star of the show. It's the thing that has the most effect on your ketones. It also lowers blood glucose. Butter and cream don't seem to have much of effect, if anything. So if you like them for the taste, I think that's okay. And I would also like to conclude by saying that I challenge anybody to have 16 ounces of coffee in a 2-hour period. That was the hardest part of this.
It didn't seem like a lot.
It was not a lot.
So that's our personal conclusion.
Yes.
16 ounces of coffee is not a lot of coffee.
Yeah.
All right.
It's personal.
It's personal. Hey, hope this was helpful to you. A lot of finger pricking, but it was well worth it. Very interesting, some of our results, especially with MCT oil. Hey, thanks for watching. Did you want to add anything else?
No, I'm just glad I can have some more coffee now.
Absolutely. We will be back soon with another video. Thanks again. See you soon.
See you next time.